Who's that?
Van Lufa.
Ved Lufa reporting for today.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart. Have you
How are
been
you?
scribbling? I'm great.
Good.
I'm on painkillers, so I'm great. My day at
Awesome.
neck. Have you been scribbling for feverishly today with the R. Kelly developments?
Oh, I haven't read any today, but I was up with it yesterday.
Oh, a
Is there more
million
going on
dollar
today?
bond. Yeah, he
Million
had
dollars.
to get $1 million. Give his passport up.
Good.
What else? And I'm pretty sure he bailed out, but he might not have. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. There's
What a
shit
piece of
popping off
shit.
everywhere.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Hello, Monique and Michelle and Clancy and Pirate and Christy. Hello, everybody. Let me get on top chat. And I meant to put drama. I'm sorry. Hey, Mama Beth. Clancy, hello. Hello. Think we're gonna have fun talking about this stuff today. What is it fun? I mean, everything we're gonna talk about actually sad. Still, there we go. Live chat. There we go. There we go. Got it. We're
I'm
waiting
here.
on Iridium and Angelo.
I made it.
Chelsea. There's Angelo's sexy voice. Hello.
Well, hello there,
Well,
Shady.
hello. Mm.
How's
Hey,
those?
Rosewater. Spring. How are you feeling?
How's those tomatoes coming?
Good, I hope. Mama Beth, we might need you up here for why people do crazy shit. Hello, Cindy. Hi, Embry Love.
Hello, Cindy, Monique, Emery, Mama Beth, Rosewater, Red Roadrunner Pirate, and everybody else.
Red Roadrunner. Hello. I love to do that. I sound like the Lesbo. Hello.
Hello.
We're watching the truck race. My son is in there. Well, I'm watching it as well. The truck race in Atlanta. If y'all don't follow racing, I don't know what's wrong with you. So if you hear screams and hollers from my living room, fear not. It's my 16-year-old son.
All
Sea
right.
Blue, hi. Hey, Shell. Iridium, get your ass in here.
Yeah, Iridium. Way to be
I
slow.
good. Now, Sea Blue, we're not going to have community drama. Hey, Black Cat Lover. We're going to elevate this. We're going to get out. We're going to elevate it. Oh my God. All right, Iridium. Verbal warning. I've just issued you a verbal warning.
Verbal. Verbal warning.
Verbal warning. How dare you think of your husband before this? That's crazy shit. My husband called here just a little while. We haven't gone to the grocery store this week. Well, I mean, in the last couple of days, right? And he called me. He's like, "What do you want? Do you want like chicken?" And he said, "I really want a Whopper." And I said, "Then bring home a bag of fucking Whoppers." And he said, "I've never been more turned on in my life." I was like, "Okay then." Artsy Studio, hello. Hello. I know, Iridium. I hate it when they say, feed me." It's like my kids. "Oh, I'm sick. I'm hungry." It's like, dude, you're 5. Get over it. How are the puppies? Wait. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3. We're waiting on Felsie, aren't we? Felsie, get your ass in here.
Elsie.
Yeah, because she is the one to go to for a Muslim state there. She knows a lot more about it. There's my sweet Mel. How you feeling, bestie? First, good morning. I'm getting a happy meal for the little. Yes. First, good morning. They love it. Hey, Steph. Pearl, hey. I hope she does feel comfortable. And I'll tell y'all this.
We have some good ones.
There's a real lack of diversity here in our community, and I don't know why. I mean, as far as I know, I don't know why that there is. And so I ran, I was considering asking Uni to join us. Because she is both gay and an African American, so we could have, killed two stones there, killed two. But I watched a video that she did the other day, and you know, I just I decided not to do it. She's kind of a perpetual victim, and I don't know if she could be. Make any sense? Oh no! Oh no! We've had a wreck, guys. Hey, Charlie.
Thank you for not doing that, Shannon.
Well, yeah. I mean, I really, I could, I. Then I thought, would asking her offend her? Because, I mean, you have to be very careful around her.
Yes.
She really is, Monique. And so I was gonna try to honestly get a really, well-rounded table here. And I decided not to go that route. And that makes me sad because Uni had an opportunity here to, she had an opportunity, and she was given that opportunity by many, and she really effed it up. So
she had the opportunity to make it right, and she didn't.
Well, she did. And this community needs diversity. When she first showed up, I'm like, yes, all right, support, and she just let us down. I don't know. Hey, Teresa, you're late, Teresa. Verbal warning will be issued. You'll get
Teresa
it
loves
in.
retro. Hello.
Hey, Leanie. Hey, Leanie Bo Beanie.
Hey, Van.
Hey, Will be, and seeing you in a lit.
Hey, Angelo.
Do you have your YouTube muted, or something muted, or are you not?
I do.
Yeah. Yep. It's paused.
Pause.
But you're getting some feedback, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not. So
maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just nuts.
No, I heard it too. I heard it too.
You did?
Yeah.
Do y'all hear it out there?
It's like a little
Yeah,
echo.
I'm gonna try to be patient with her. I had the community after me too. Yeah, Monique, I know. I'm trying to. But I just have to. She keeps shooting herself in the foot. So I know, Mel. I don't want to get, I don't want it to be drama. I want Yenny to pull this out. And you know what I'm saying? I am really hoping she pulls this out and fixes it. It could be done, but I ain't the one that's doing it. Sorry. This community needs a lobotomy. Well, you're probably right. I mean, we could sit here and dish it for real. If we want to do community drama, there's enough. I just can't. I don't want to do it. Where the hell's Felsie? Might have to start with the hour, but let me give her like a couple more minutes.
She got like a football team of kids.
Well, that's true. I know, right? God, I'm
Probably busy.
Yeah, Mama Beth, we are. We are. Oh, my little baby girl 681 woke up today without a fever.
Yeah.
Yay! So that's the first time that's happened in a week. So check your text, Shannon. So I mean, I'm telling y'all, this flu is ridiculous.
Oh.
And last night I was trying to get it. But it went away. I guess my vaccine's trying to work. Hold on, I'm texting. All right, I'm sorry. All right, let's. I want to start. I'm just going to go and start with the ISIS brides because, quite frankly, I am. And Angelo, you are, are expert in. I don't know what do you call that? Like, what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about? These little girls who took off running to join ISIS, and
We call them ISIS sympathizers.
well, yeah, they got over there, and this happened, all over the world, not just. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
in the UK,
Mhm.
they go over there. Uh, they're radicalized here online. It must be very easy to do. They run over there, quickly get pregnant, and
I,
realize that hey,
I said
being
hi, Teresa.
hey, he did say hi to you. Well, then they go over there, they get married, quote unquote. They have some babies, and then they change their mind. Perhaps ISIS is not the place I need to be. So we have one in particular in and I'm not even going to call her name, but we have one right now that's in a refugee camp because the Middle East is, you know, kind of effed up, and she wants to come home with her son. She actually applied for a visa or a passport, and she got it in 10 days. However, Trump has said his Secretary of State, do not let her in. And you know what? I agree with Trump. Somebody write that shit down. Don't let her in. And this isn't just Trump though. Obama was the same way. He didn't want them let back in. So when I posed the question on Twitter, I really expected to see a little bit of both sides. I didn't. None. Everybody said keep them out.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come back, say one of them gets back in there, Angelo, what could happen? I mean,
Most
if you take this
likely,
girl, her
well,
mind is warped.
it's warped is I guess it's an easy word to use. I would say that she's been radicalized. The problem with letting people in that fought against, this is the key here, fought against Americans and allied forces.
Right.
That's key here. They fought against Americans and allied forces. Now they want to come back to the US because three important things to remember there. Women have absolutely zero rights over there, even as an ISIS wife. There's zero rights. Okay. Two, the poverty level there is astronomically greater than what it is in America. And the third being the fact that they have more level here for the ability to do things, and that's why they want to come back. And what I mean by level to do things, it means sleeper cells. Which, if people don't think there's sleeper cells in this country right now, you'd be sadly misinformed. We have a sleeper cell that we kids constantly are keeping an eye on in the tri-state area. That's constantly watched, constantly monitored. I won't say its name, but it's constantly watched and constantly monitored, and they're disguised as everyday people. They're people that you may be having coffee with one day and bowling the next day, and all the while they're thinking about ways of how they're going to kill as many people as they can. That is their job. Their job is to integrate themselves into your life, and that's what makes the whole Muslim scare tactic that our politicians use very effective for Americans, because they have us living in a fear that all Muslims want to kill us, and that's just sadly not the case. All Muslims do not want to kill Americans, or the great white evil, as they like to call us, or the great evil.
Right.
That is not the case with all Muslims. There are radical Muslims, like there are radical Christians, like there are radical Catholics, that have a warped concept of what they believe is right and wrong, and it's our job as human beings to try to protect ourselves as much as possible, but still leave that gap open to accept differences from people who don't want to obviously kill us. I don't see that happening with people. Yeah, I can send you the link, Filthy. I don't see that happening with people who are leaving this country to go over there to marry ISIS soldiers in an effort to, bear them offspring, because offspring for them means more soldiers in the future fight. And so for me, if you've left this country, and I don't care if you're Muslim or not, because there have been Americans that have left this country to go fight with ISIS.
Yep.
Okay. If you've left this country to go fight with an enemy against us and our allied forces, you have lost your right to return to this country. Period.
Amen.
Yeah, and it's not, it's not, I live in Virginia, all right, and I actually live in Lynchburg, Virginia, where we have Thomas Road Baptist Church. That's Jerry Falwell's church. It was university, and when Jerry Falwell was alive, all right, oh Jesus, I always thought if they attacked us, they would do it there, because he was so anti anything that wasn't white and Christian. And so I live in a town that's predominantly conservative to, and they're really, what was the word? I mean, Muslims, there's Muslims that live here, very nice. There's radicalized Christians, there's radicalized Catholics, there's, you know what I'm saying? So, but these women, and they're women now. All right, they're not girls. They left girls. They're women now. Have gotten over there, and like you said, it's complete poverty. You are in a hovel. Children. I mean, there's one girl that went back 3 times, had 2 children in the middle of the jungle that didn't live, and then had another one, and she wants to come back. And Bam, which I wish I could have gotten Bam. She lives in the UK. Now, you got to think, the UK is so small compared to the United States, and they're letting in refugees left, right, and center. And Bam's got a very, very strong opinion on it. Hey, Jenny, I just, God, you want to feel for them, but no, they're going to come over here. And I don't know how easy it is to radicalize some people. I know some of it happens in jail. I don't know if it's, it's the same reason people join cults. They're looking for something. And just like in Africa, all right, so we're letting, there's genocide going on in Africa right now. It's been going on forever. And we ignore it. But you know who doesn't ignore it? ISIS. And they don't ignore it. They go over there and, feed these people, work the shit out.
It's pouring down rain. Everybody go race.
Okay, then my son has just given us all a little
it's pouring down rain. Everybody
weather update for Atlanta. There you are. Ratings. Sorry. Now, see, I'm resending it right now. That's why I'm scattered. So overwhelmingly, we don't want him back in. I've always said and I don't want to mention Trump so much, but when he was running and he was, oh, thank you, my sweet. And even now, we can't let him in. We can't let him in. They're going to get in here and do what? They're already here. Make no mistake, they are already here. It's like Angelo said, there are little pods of them everywhere.
Yep.
I'm shocked that we haven't been hit before because it's so easy. We have so many soft targets here, schools, and I don't want to. When I put ISIS bride in the damn description, I thought maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't want ISIS watching my damn.
Shannon, I sent you Felsey's email in a Twitter message.
Okay,
Do you
got
know how
it.
to add her manually like that?
No, I don't.
All right, so you go to the section where it says invite
Okay.
on your Hangouts because you're the host,
I am the host.
and then you just type that email in and hit send.
Okay.
Because she's using,
Felsey, baby.
I think she's using the app.
All right, hold on. Got it.
You got to also understand that these pods, these sleeper cells, it's not just limited to Muslims, by the way. And another thing I wanted to address is somebody up in the chat said Catholics don't kill their enemies. That's actually wrong. Catholics have killed their enemies many, many times. There's a lot of evidence through the years of extreme religions killing their enemies or killing non-believers, as they like to call it. Now, some religions have tamed over the years, but there's still there's still extreme versions of them out there. Westboro Baptist Church would be one that I would name right off the top. There are extreme religions out there from every denomination that have heinous crimes in their history. But as far as ISIS goes, you guys got to think like a soldier. If you were a soldier and you're a trained combatant, where would you want your sleeper cells to be in a country the size of the United States? But as far as ISIS goes, you would want them to be close to where the powers are. You want them to be within striking distance of criminal court buildings or Supreme Court, the White House, Congressional Hall, town halls, hospitals, power plant centers, water treatment centers. And if you look around you, just quietly look around you and look at where certain types of organizations are that support specific what's the word I want to use? Specific pathways. That doesn't mean necessarily that organization in of itself is an enemy, but there are members within it that could be enemies, and they're using that as a cover to protect themselves. And that's why we have that fear that Muslims are coming to kill us. All the Muslims are bad. All the Muslims are evil, and that's just not the case.
I'll be the first one to admit that I do this. If I am at Walmart or whatever, Kroger, whatever, and I will think to myself, it is so easy right now for somebody just to come in here, and whatever. A mass shooting, I mean, ISIS now is resorting to just running, look at the UK and London, they just run them over in a car. When I see somebody weird walking into my children's school when I'm picking them up, I mean, and this could be, it's not just if they look Muslim, it's anybody. I look, what the hell is he doing? I've never seen him before. And I look around his body to see. It's sad but true. That's what I do. Because you think if they hit a school or, sorry, I dropped something. Hey, I dropped something. Or Walmart, or Americans would. I don't know what we do. Because Egypt and not Egypt. What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? Over there. The Jerusalem and whatnot. They will just blow themselves up in the middle of a damn cafe on a bus.
Yeah.
And they live like that. Actually, commercial like comes to them for go in there. Are you kidding? Oh, there's been more wars fought in the name of God than any other in the world. Okay, ever. Will we ever catch up with that? No, we won't. All right,
hey, Shannon.
You here?
I'm here.
Felsey Love. Okay, Felsey is our expert. And you are. I mean, you've lived there. You've seen it.
Yeah, I have. I was married 15 years to a Muslim. Yep.
Tell us about where did you live? I know you told me before. I can't remember that because you lived in two
Well,
different places.
I did. I lived in a place called Hama, Syria, which has a really deep background with war and the history of the Assad regime. And I
Yeah.
also lived in UAE, Dubai. I taught in both
Oh.
places. Yeah.
So what do these brides Well, I mean, you're not she was not an ISIS bride. Everyone.
I went willingly to Syria.
You went
It's a
willingly,
beautiful
yeah.
place, and contrary to the nut jobs that you see on TV, most of the people that you see on TV are trying to get the fuck out of there. You know, they're trying to leave, and
Right.
they don't want nothing to do with war or the crazy fundamentalists. And that's basically where my family, my children's father's family stand. They fled. They have. So in Islam, you either are you can interpret the Quran in so many ways, just like the Bible can. You know, you can
Absolutely.
have people who take one sentence to mean "let's kill everyone we see" with a sword, and someone who says "let's kill everyone with kindness." You know, you can
Right.
take a sentence any way you want to. What we fall back on is the peacefulness of Islam in itself. The word Islam means, salam is peace. If and Also, there are teachings in Islam called the hadiths, which are what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, believed, and the way he lived. And the way he lived was a very peaceful life. He always said, don't be extreme left, don't be extreme right. Always walk in the middle. Do as other people do. Live the way like if you go and break bread in someone's home who sits a certain way or believe a certain way, you should do as they do. You never make yourself an enemy of anyone. So
Wow.
to me, if you just read into the way the fundamentalists read into it, yes, the Quran can sound very scary, and of course I have been to uh, you know masjids or mosques where some of the sheikhs teach the Quran in a scary way and say, well, it means this to me. And I have been to mosques where they have completely different opinion and say, I don't interpret this at all to mean if you don't believe our religion, then we should kill them. I believe it to mean we should teach them what we know. So there's a passage in the Quran that says, if well, I don't want to teach the Quran here tonight. I'm just okay.
Well,
So
no, tell us because people need to know.
If you okay, if you kill everyone that doesn't believe what you believe, you're going to be living the rest of your life just killing everyone because the world is so diverse, right?
Right.
And the Quran also says that if you don't learn everyone else's religion, then you're going to it says that everyone's religion has some right in it. It tells us to read the Torah. It tells us to read the Bible. You're supposed to learn everyone's religion so that you know how to explain to them what you believe about your religion. And to me, I think all of the religions are a fulfillment of one another. I don't think you should just stop at one book. I think every book has a part, a story to tell, and a part of God's story. And I don't think if you're a Christian, you're wrong. If you're a Jew, you're wrong. If you're a Muslim, you're wrong. If you're a Catholic, you're wrong. I think everyone is right. If you believe in God,
Yes.
I think you're right.
Clapping. That's
Yeah,
exact. I think when we pass on, we're gonna find out, quote unquote, God went by many names.
exactly. And the
Um,
biggest is of mercy. His biggest name was mercy and forgiveness.
yeah. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
one religion, so many good people. Yeah, I can't. But I know that the Islam and the Quran is beautiful, but you can pick stuff out of the Bible as well that
Mm-hmm.
is you know
And a lot of people
and
say, well, look at what's going on in Jerusalem. Look at the fighting between the Muslims and Palestine, the Jewish and the Palestine. And I honestly don't believe that's a religious fight. I believe that it has become a fight over land that makes it look
right,
to us like a war of religion. Land is a precious commodity, and everybody believes that their spot is a religious special spot, and so
right,
everybody wants to covet where they believe their prophets lived and their prophets prayed. So they're fighting over that precious space, and it looks to us like a war of religions. But I've got the more you learn, and the more modern life gets, and the more intellectual we become, you learn that Christians and Jews and Muslims are so much more in common. And we had Christian neighbors when I lived in Syria, and when I first went to live in Syria, I thought everyone in Syria was Muslim. I didn't know that there are Christians that live in Syria, and so they live amongst one another. They live on same streets, and it's not the way we see it
what
here.
we
We see
think.
the bad stuff.
Yeah, it's not what we think. It
Yeah.
can't be what we think. It can't be just street after street of fighting, 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 and
No, well, my daughter
uh,
lives in Damascus, which honestly, Damascus did see almost none of the fighting because the president lives there. And I don't know if you guys know his Bashar al-Assad's wife. She actually went through breast cancer last year, and she doesn't even wear a hijab. A lot of people think that he is a fundamentalist and a dictator, and he's not. They're a very nice family, and well, his father has a history. I'm not going to say they're a nice family. I'm going to
right,
say
right,
I'm sure that he has done some things he should not do, as all presidents are probably guilty of.
right,
But he's not this fundamentalist that people think he is. If he was, his wife would be in a burqa and she wouldn't leave house. She
right.
walks in the street with no cover. She speaks to the ladies on the street. I've met her. She's lovely, and they didn't treat me any different than anyone else.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you have to cover yourself?
Shannon, I eventually did cover myself. I didn't have to; it was a
Right,
choice, and it was honestly. I thought it was very special to cover your hair. I thought it was very
right.
precious, like a precious thing for men to respect you for. I kind of felt like the Virgin Mary, to be honest. Like that was my I guess what I always told people. Like, if you think it's silly for me to wear a headscarf, then you think the Virgin Mary was silly. Because
Okay, yeah, all right. There you are.
it's kind of a
That's
religious thing. Yeah.
yeah. Well, when I look back, or if any of our, like, the first lady or whatever, even down to I've noticed Princess Diana and all the princesses would cover their head
Mm-hmm.
just out of respect.
It
Out of
is. Yeah.
respect, and it's
It,
a
it
beautiful
was
thing.
really out of respect. It is a very religious. The scarf to me is when you become religious. My daughter, the oldest one, she got married. She chose to cover her hair when she turned 17, and that was because she started learning about the power of Islam and the deen, I guess spiritualness of covering your hair and how closer to
Right.
God you can get when you don't worry what you look like. When you worry about vanity, especially in America as a teenage girl, and to be able to put on a headscarf and go to high school and not wear makeup was really powerful to me. Like, I thought, wow, this kid is worried more about her school and her God, and she's not fundamentalist at all. Like, she's very, she's a lot like me. She's a lot like me.
Yeah.
She said maybe one day I will take off my scarf, but for right now, I want to live in the Middle East with my husband. They own an antique company there. He's actually a
Would
dentist.
I die to go there? Oh my God.
Shannon, you should. I mean, not right now. And that I'm going to say right now, there's still towns in Syria that have terrorists embedded. So would I say go right now? No. My
Yeah.
daughter, I feel more comfortable with because she was born to a Syrian father. She's fluent in Arabic. She wears a headscarf, so I feel more comfortable with her being there, being around her family, and because they live near an airport where she can hop on a on a flight out of
Right.
there. She lives like 5 minutes from the airport, so she can be out. She has an American passport. She can leave if she's scared. As for an American citizen to go there right now, I wouldn't. But if and when the conflict ends, if anyone would like to go, hey, I would love to take any. I speak Arabic fluently, and actually, Egypt is a really nice place to go to. Like right now, if you wanted to go, like there are places in the Middle East that are safe. Syria, not so
Right.
much. Libya, not so much. I wouldn't go to maybe Iran, just places where there could be, terror. And
isn't it
and just
sad because those places are so important to history.
they are. Amen.
And
Shannon, you go stand in Damascus in the places where prophets have walked. Go to where they are buried, their tombs,
yeah.
Abraham, and it's so there's no description. I don't care what religion you are. When you are in places like that, your heart is so full. There is no room for hate.
Right.
So
Well, because that's where all the religions started.
exactly,
Well, okay, that's where they started. I mean, that's holy.
exactly.
And if you even if you're not religious, if you are history,
Mm-hmm.
it's sad. It's sad that it's been ripped apart for 50 years. Or you know what I'm saying? It's fighting
Absolutely.
it's just sad. So are your children Muslim, the ones that live with you?
Well, I have 8 children total. 6 are biological and 2 are my stepchildren. So I was
Right.
married for 15 years and had 4 children to a Syrian. I have a long story of what happened between my ex-husband and our history. And
he stole your children.
yeah, he took my kids for
Yeah,
5
he stole my
years.
children.
He thought that I was going to I guess Christianize my kids when we got divorced, and his family was scaring him, saying, "Oh, she's going to make them turn Christian." Like, he was really, in Syria, in those Middle Eastern countries, your family, your mother, your father are your bosses. It doesn't matter if you are a 50-year-old man, if your father is alive, your mother is alive, and they tell you to do something, you do it. It's not like here where
Right.
you can cuss back and forth with your parents. That doesn't happen here.
Right.
It's a respect thing. And I guess because his parents don't know the culture here, don't know me, my family, and they didn't know the intentions behind my religion and my separation from him, that they scared him
Yeah.
and told him, she's gonna do this and she's gonna do that. So yeah, he did. He took them. Well, one of them for 4 years, and he sent him back because he was sick. And then he brought the other four back when he realized that I wasn't going to try to prosecute him, and that I, wanted to not change my children, but let them be who they are and who they want to be.
Right.
And I can get, listen, I have forgiven him, Shannon. I can say that when it first happened, I went into a deep depression. I, tried to kill myself. Not but literally, like, I tried to do it with booze and drugs and
Right.
to forget that they were gone. And then I met a man who was really kind to me and said, "I'm not going to let you kill yourself," grabbed me up by my boots and said, "Let's go, get up. You're going to live life." And so we were married for 2 years, and I got pregnant with another kid, which I really, I was older, and I was in my mid-30s, and I say to myself every day, "Oh my God, why did I do that?" But honestly, they were my reason for waking up in the morning back then.
Sure.
And then when my kids came back, we had a big old family again. My kids travel back and forth between us. Sometimes they'll spend a school year with me. Sometimes they'll spend a school year with their dad. They mix it up depending on what they're doing. One of them, my oldest, she graduated last year, got married to a dentist, and they have this is the reason why she went to Syria. They actually own an antique furniture business in Damascus. Her husband was born and raised in Damascus. They're a little bit more modern. His sisters don't cover their hair. My daughter's husband's sisters, and his family lives in Texas. And his mother is basically the only one who covers her hair in the family. And so, so when she got married, he told her, "You don't have to wear your scarf if you don't want to." And she said, "No, this is my choice. Please leave that to my discretion. If I want to take it off, it's my decision." Basically the way I lived my life. When I wanted to wear my scarf, I wore my scarf. And when I wanted to take it off, I took it off,
Right. All right. So Kelly is asking a question, and she said, "If you don't mind me asking, Felsie,
any question, I don't know.
Do you think a foreigner going with the Brit or an American just want a kid or a green card?"
There are people. Listen, anyone can be suspicious of that. There are Hispanics who do that. There are the ladies in Russia who do that to American men.
Right. Yeah.
Anyone who wants a green card are suspect of that, and only you will know if your significant other loves you or not, and that's just the honest truth.
For reality show, if y'all have not watched 90 Day Fiance, and I'm not being funny, and we cover this show, if you don't watch 90 Day Fiance, you should. You should go back to the beginning, the first one, because, hey, look, if you're an American marrying an American, you don't know what some of them are up to sometimes.
Exactly. You don't know.
So this is...
People here marry you for money here. You have gold diggers. So, you know...
See it. You can, yeah, exactly.
You never know who's marrying who and for what reason, and not every foreigner is marrying you for a green card. That really has to be, if it's just an internet relationship, you have to be suspicious of that, because how much can you really love somebody? Well, people say they fall in love over the internet. I just don't see that happening, because listen, I've been online for 2 years, and people who have said they love me can flip on a freaking dime. And so I'm leery of internet people. So I couldn't see how a relationship online would be something you could trust,
Eva Elizabeth wants to know why your life isn't a movie.
I've had people ask me to write a book.
Check in later.
I've had someone who is an accredited book writer in our family ask if I would write a book. And my opinion is I still have small children. Well, not small, but I have a young child who is still trying to get over what happened to her. She was taken when she was 4, my youngest one, and she's 12 now, and she still doesn't know everything that happened. And I don't want her to hate her dad. I really am so afraid that if I, her mind is so impressionable right now that if I put my story out and the things that happened to me within my in-laws' home, her grandparents are still alive, and she visits them, and it might happen one day when they're old enough to be
Right.
able to read the book and forgive. Right now,
Yeah.
they would be torn, and I just don't want them. They've been through enough, and my kids are thriving, brilliant children. My son, my oldest one, who was called a jihadi 2 days
Yeah,
ago.
I was gonna mention that.
Uh, so my oldest son, he just turned 18, actually, just February the 14th. One's born on, my oldest was born on New Year's Day, and my second was born on Valentine's Day. He
Oh,
just turned 18, and he's already being shadowed by NASA. He came from Shannon. Remember that these kids were taken to Syria back when the war first started.
right.
They had to go on the run and live in a village without power for almost a year until they could get to Egypt. This is stuff that I didn't know because he wasn't in contact with me. So my kids lived without school for 5 years. Then they returned to
Oh,
America and study, and they did homeschool for 1 year where they did nothing but study so that they could go back to school and be
right.
in their grade level. Or one of them's not, because the youngest one had the hardest time because she was so little when she left. She didn't even know how to speak English when she came back.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, she took the longest time, but right now she's in the honor society. She's in all of the little, I call her my little dork because she's in all the little dork clubs, and she loves education. Kids who don't get it actually appreciate it a little more. So
So they're thriving. I mean, they're
oh
thriving.
gosh. So my son last year, he started getting invitations to come see colleges. He's already finished all of his credits. He's taking extra credits just because he doesn't want to start college early. But he could have at the he only needed a few credits, so he could have finished half of the year. He's still going. He's going to have extra credits when he graduates. And he also wanted to do the prom thing and all of that, so that's why he wanted to stay in school. He got the award. What was it called? Oh crap, I can't think of it. He got prom. He got voted prom. He was voted not prom king, but he was on the ballot, nominated for prom king.
Please.
What was it called? Oh, the pride of his school. He got the pride of his school.
Wow. So
And
this is a testament. This is a testament, though, to you.
oh, thank you, Shannon.
I mean, well, it is to you.
Listen, my son has the kindest heart. No, not just myself, but they were just they're good
I
kids.
can't imagine my children living through what they did
Yeah.
and then coming here and have a total opposite life. And the fact that they adjusted and they thrive is a testament to you
Well,
as a
yeah.
mom.
The older children were born here, so they went to school here when they were little. It was just the littlest one who had zero memory. The other, see, I had my first three, and then I waited 6 years and had another one. So the older kids were mentally affected because they remembered me and they remembered their life here, and then they went there and had no school. They had to hide. They were scared, and
Right.
yeah, the youngest one was kind of she didn't know, she didn't remember, and she was kind of just there playing every day. And my kids said that they would tell her stories about America, and tell her about her mom so that she wouldn't forget me. And they didn't want her to be sad, or it breaks my heart, the things that happen to my kids. But that's what, my kids, because of that happening, they are so strong and they are so sweet. Gosh, I can't even, I was telling a friend of mine that if my son sees someone walking down the road and I don't stop to pick them up, he gets so angry at me, like, Mom, you don't know what happened to them. I'm like, but they could have like, you don't know people then, in this day and time. He's like, listen, I'm a man. I'll sit in the back. If something happens, he's so sweet. I'm so proud of him. He wants to work for NASA. He's so sweet, so smart. And for him to be called a jihadi or a terrorist just because of his name or where his father's from, just shows the ignorance that is this community.
Now, look, when you came back from the Middle East, did people look at you like, huh?
Well, Shannon, I was a conundrum in both countries because, see, in Syria, I drove and smoked cigarettes and cussed and sounded like a Southern. And so there, they looked at me like, what in the hell is coming our way? I drove a stick shift and I would pull up into the school, cigarette hanging out with my hijab on. Good morning, y'all. And so people there kind of were like, what in the hell? But, I am who I am, and eventually they all were very kind to me. And then here, I had a few of, listen, I come from a small town, Shannon, and everybody knows me. And so when I see people at the store with my scarf on, it would not even faze me. I would go, hey, y'all, and hug them. And I'm sure some people were like, what the shit is that? Like, I'm sure, but nobody was rude. People say, people were mean to me because I had a scarf on. They were made racist. I had one person back when I first put my scarf on look at me weird, and I yelled at her. I was like, what the fuck are you looking at? And I realized, like, I did that when I was before I put on a scarf and knew what a Muslim was. I would have stared, like, so I stopped doing that. And now, after that, I would smile and say, hey, how are you? And it just made a big difference. They would, stop staring at me and say hello back. And it's how you treat people is how they treat you most of the time,
Yeah. So, I'm going to switch quick. We're going to switch quick. But everybody stay here. All right. Wake up, Angelo.
I'm here.
I'm going to go straight to, and I thank you, Felsie. I cannot thank you enough.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Don't go anywhere. Stay on my panel. Hey,
absolutely.
Nick,
love you, girl.
I've heard these stories. That's why I needed you to come up here, because you respect the area. You are always, anytime that I've talked to you about this, you were always very, I hate it when I can't think of a word.
It's okay.
You talked about the beautiful country, the beautiful people, the, whatnot. So you had to come here because, you didn't see that, Syria now is in bad shape. A lot.
Yeah, it is.
Like, and girls want to come back, and I hope they don't.
No, absolutely. Listen, we don't agree with that either. My daughter is like, listen, you make your bed, you lie in it. She's there by choice, and she doesn't believe in the fighting, and she's totally, listen, they have people who have to hide, they try to hide them when they're running from the regime. But absolutely, to come back here in her country where her sisters and brothers live, and her need to worry about her family getting harmed, no, absolutely not. All right, you guys, you can go.
It's almost like the Jews in Germany. Genocide is everywhere. Still to this day, people don't think it's not. Now I'm gonna get Angelo. He's the only boy on the panel, and I say boy because he's so handsome. All right, let's go to Jussie Smolette. If y'all don't know who that actor on the show Empire.
Mhm.
The dumbest criminal I've ever heard of because he wrote a check to the people he wanted to attack him, quote unquote, so he could get this in the paper.
Mhm.
So Jussie, there was a there was a letter sent to the production company that films Empire, and it was a cutout. Like I know all of you probably, I know every one of you have watched my Black Dahlia video, but it was, the letters were cut out, targeted. I can't even remember what the damn letter said. Then there was like a stick figure in a noose and a gun. Okay. So apparently, when the production company didn't go crazy, or Fox didn't hope his Fox checks, yeah, really. Apparently, he wasn't satisfied with the result, so he paid two Nigerian brothers to attack him. Not to hurt him too bad. Noose around his neck, and then okay. So this attack happened. Jussie Smollett said that two white men, screaming, make America, great again, attacked him, threw a noose around his neck. He barely escaped. He had a scratch on his eye. The media went wild. Everybody was on his side. And then the story started to fall apart because they actually had the video of the two brothers from Nigeria who were black, not white.
Mhm.
Jussie had written them a check for $3,800 to attack him. So now he's arrested. He's been arrested for a false report. I imagine sending the letter. Is that federal? Is that federal, Angelo? If he sent the letter through the mail?
If it literally
I would
went,
think so.
if it literally went through the mail, then yes, the feds can get
Yeah,
involved.
well, it did. Yeah, it went through the mail.
Yep.
So that's a federal charge. The Chicago Police Department, the chief of police in Chicago, I don't know if y'all saw this press conference. He was livid. However, he didn't scream and yell. I mean, this person got, Donald Trump in the middle of it, but, with the Make America Great Again, knowing that there's such division in this country, threw a damn noose on his neck. Let's throw that in too, because I'm black and I'm also gay, so that's why they screamed, I mean.
Oof.
So now he is arrested. However, all those people and politicians that had his back, I ain't heard a whole lot from them.
Mhm.
He went back to work actually. The other day when he got out of court, I think he went back to work, and I think Fox is getting ready to drop.
Oh yeah, they're I mean, they have to, because look what they did to Roseanne.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to. The punishment has to be equal. The problem with, I'm gonna try to do your answer your question best I can, because I know there's a question coming, but I want you to understand that it's probably going to be like a six part answer. Look, I think we can sit here as Americans and we can agree that we have a definite race problem in this country. Yes, we still see this, right? Am I on?
Is this microphone? Yes, Angelo. I do believe there are some racist people still in America.
Okay. And then we have obviously equality issues with people in this country when it comes to sexuality, religion, male, female, equality. There's a problem across the board. And the other problem that we have that adds to this is that we have our politicians that use those things to hurt and scare voters.
I think Shannon dropped out.
She should be
She
back.
did.
That might be what it is.
Yeah, I think she'll be back though.
Probably her internet. Yes.
Yeah, keep going, Angela.
So the problem I have with it is that in this country we have
I agree, Melissa.
A lot of people that are angry still, because there are a lot of unanswered racist crimes, and a large portion of those are against Black people and women, and we're at a point in our country where people are scared and tired, and we have a president that people are scared of. You know, if you look, it's about 50-50 down the line. You have 50% of the country that really supports the president,
right?
50% of the country that really thinks that this guy's a racist bigot. As a soldier, it's the president, and unless he gives an unlawful order, we follow what the orders are, unless it's unlawful.
There's Shannon.
All right. So you have it. The other thing is we, for some reason, have been ingrained to think that these actors, they're Americans. I give them that. They're for the most part, they're Americans. So they have that right. They have that voice. Okay. But to take their stature and use it as a platform, but they don't do anything for the people that they're on the platform for, I have an issue with that. An example of that, if I could, would be Morgan Freeman and oh Jesus Christ, Gary Sinise. Okay, so we have a Black actor and a white actor, right? Morgan Freeman donates close to 70% of his royalties, his movie stuff, to his communities, his Black communities that he grew up in,
Right?
along with other motivational organizations that help lift people out of poverty, bring water to other countries, and all this other stuff. And then you have Gary Sinise.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay, Shannon.
Then you have Gary Sinise, who does things for Black communities and wounded warriors. And they're also very outspoken advocates for their specific communities. So those people, I believe, have the rights. Oh, and Denzel Washington. In fact, I told you about this, fellas. Remember at Fort Belvoir, Denzel Washington was in the area to look over the area that they were going to be filming in for a movie.
That's right.
And we had a $500,000 shortfall for our new Wounded Warrior Pavilion that we were building. And without missing a beat, this dude pulled out a checkbook and wrote a check for $500,000 and gave it to Wounded Warrior Project. Never was in the news. No photo opportunities. No nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't want any of that. He said, "Finish your pavilion." Those are people that are pillars that speak not only with their stature but with their money, and their actions equal what their mouth says. Then you have people who speak, who are just speaking. I'm a huge fan of a guy that's on Twitter lately, you guys. He has a movie studio by one of my houses in New York. Ron Perlman, you guys know who that guy is?
Oh yeah, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, great guy. But the man, he has a lot of things he wants to say, but he doesn't put much action behind it. If you get my drift,
right?
So he'll run at the mouth, but he doesn't really do much. James Wood is another one I follow. He has a big mouth, likes to say a lot of hateful things, but he really doesn't put anything behind it. So now we're talking about this actor from Empire. So what he saw was an opportunity, which is the way racism works. And believe it or not, this is racism. What he did is racist.
Absolutely.
There's no other explanation for what he did. It is a hate crime and it is racism. Tom Cruise can eat a bag of dicks.
Yes, he can.
And he would. And he would love it.
Yeah, he would.
I'm so sorry. Did I slip that? I'm so sorry.
Yes, you said that out loud.
Anyways, so it is racism. It should be treated as racism, and the equal punishment of the law, regardless of his color, should be applied across the board. And that's where I stand with him. He has, believe it or not, set equality back 20 years with that one action.
Yeah.
Because now,
100%.
when in I don't even want to say African American because that's
Look at
such
what
a horrible
Iridium
term.
said. Iridium said, Angelo, you'll get Scientology after Shannon's channel.
Sorry, Shannon.
Frank, they don't want me.
They don't want none of that.
Keanu Reeves. Beth has it right. Keanu Reeves is another one. Keanu Reeves lives a very meager life. Very meager life. That guy from the beer Vegas movies too. That guy, the bearded guy. Behind the Fern. He used to do a show called.
I know what you're talking about. And I can't pronounce his last name.
He does a lot. Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
There you go. That's great. There you go.
So now when a person of color goes to report a hate crime, the stigma of questions is going to be there. And we've seen this on YouTube too, haven't we? Somebody makes a false accusation or a false claim.
Right.
Everybody cares. Everybody rushes in. Then we do some investigation. And what happens? We find out it's not so true. Now, the next person that comes along, we're not so fast to believe. And then the next and the next and the next. The more times you get fooled, eventually you're going to have a half-assed look at things and you're going to take it half-assed. So he's really done a lot of harm to equality for both, not just persons of color, but gays, for equality rights across the board. And that's unfortunate. And that's an even bigger crime than the race crime, in my opinion, because we're at a point in this country where we're so inclined to think that we have to believe in separatist movements of color and gender, when really there is only one thing to see. Are you a human being? If you're a human being, you are empowered to do the right thing or the wrong thing. That's it. You can either do it right or you can do it wrong. It has nothing to do with your color. And you shouldn't be judged based on your color. You shouldn't be judged based on if you have a penis or a vagina. You know, you shouldn't be judged if you're a Catholic or a Christian or a Muslim. You should be judged on the stature of your character, what you bring and what you support and how much you put into it. That should be the defining nature of what we are as human beings. But we've become so accustomed. You see it on applications. What's your gender? What's your race? What's your age? You know, and then they have you don't have to answer these, but are you religious? If so, what's your religion? Who gives a shit? None of that stuff matters to us. It should not matter to us as human beings. Be kind. Be kind.
All right.
You don't even have to love them. But what this guy did, he hurt everyone in this country.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Listen,
Everyone.
What Melissa said, now anyone who reports a hate crime is going to have a greater chance that they won't be believed just because of him.
Exactly. You know, and the example to prove that is, look at how long it took for these actors to start facing criminal charges for some of the things they did. If you'd asked me 20 years ago if I thought Bill Cosby raped women, I'd have looked at you like you were crazy.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if a woman came forward and said, this guy raped me, I would have been, you're crazy. There's no way in hell. This guy's a famous actor. Why would he do that?
Right.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're in the 22nd century. There are evil people, and they hide amongst us.
Yeah.
And they come in
use
all
their
shapes and
fame
sizes.
to do horrible shit.
They
And
come in all
money.
shapes and sizes, and power and money.
Absolutely.
Yep. And, you know, we can either let that that those actions make us live a life of fear, or we can set examples. Just because you don't live in fear doesn't mean you're not oblivious to the things around you. Keep your eyes open. Be vigilant, but don't be fearful. That's where I stand on that. Is she back in here, or she get kicked again?
She got kicked out again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shannon. I'm writing her a reprimand letter. But yeah, I mean, that's where I stand. What do you think?
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, he should face consequences. But
I think the fact that he used a noose was so much worse than just saying he got attacked.
In Chicago, mind you, right? This was Chicago.
I mean the what the noose represents to African American history is so sacred that using it to make people feel sorry for you in a lie is, to me, just it's.
And you know what? I also believe that trying to make people that believed him part of his cover or whatever the hell it is,
Right.
is just as wrong.
Didn't his brothers get in trouble? Like they got a penalty for.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have jail time, but his brothers were also involved. That's nuts.
Like I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, Christian, so it doesn't matter what their religion. If you believed him because you believed him, I don't see you as an enemy. I see you as a person that generally cared that this guy had a hate crime done to him. So it's okay if you believed him.
Booted out of our own live show. So first, good morning said Shannon lives in fear being booted out of her own live stream. And then Iridium Farmer said, yeah, by Scientology.
Those damn Scientologists.
They hacked her. They got her Wi-Fi knocked down. Oh, yeah, during Black History Month, too. Yeah, Black History Month being, oh, gosh, just nuts. I wonder what Jussie would have done if two white men were arrested for this crime. Would he have let two innocent men spend time in prison? That's a good question, Eva.
I believe he would have if he could have gotten away with
I don't think he would have said anything either. That's just my opinion.
He was willing to take this as far as it could go.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a technology world, guys.
The first week he was out, like, just playing it up as just, oh gosh, I can't believe how well he played it. I mean, kind of reminded me of the dude who just murdered his wife, and then like, people are just becoming sickos. Like Chris Watts for a whole a week playing it off, and like, how are these people? It's just, I'm sure they lived amongst us back before, before we had social media, but now I guess we have such a connection to everything that happens at the in our hands. We see these news articles come through